So for this project you will need bedding, some wood, either purchased inexpensively or you may have some in your garage or in storage somewhere, a ruler, or if you prefer a tape measure, staple gun, fabric scissors, pin, needle and thread, pins, and a selection of buttons. Also there is the option to use these little mini pegs and or sometimes called ticks. Today I'm going to use buttons because I am out of ticks and that is all that I had left. Also to go through your fabric bins and see if you have any good size pieces of fabric that you can use for this project. Finally, if you have a selection of ribbons in your collection and or string, then you can choose one of these. I tend to use one that is narrow. Firstly, place your bedding down on your table, which is a smooth clean surface, followed by placing your wood on top of that bedding. And if you are like me and you do not want to waste any fabric, then take your measurement, because you need some of the bedding to be enough to fold over and later it will be attached to this wood, and I am going to do about 2 inches, which you can see here. It's just a smidge under, and I am going to cut all the way around to that desired measurement, and then we will start folding that over the wood. I have now completed cutting around the bedding. Now as a guide you can just remove the wood and place the bedding on the fabric, which is what I am going to do. I'm going to have a little look through and decide which fabric that I am going to use. And you can use linen, cotton, you can have more rigidity in the cotton or a softer cotton, and I have also used flannel previously. So most fabrics do work. If you do use a stretch fabric, it can still work, but if you just want something as peace of mind to not stretch out, you can iron on some iron-on interfacing just to help the fabric not to stretch out. I currently have 2 fabrics here. This beautiful fabric was kindly gifted to me a little while ago from Debbie, Saturday Sewing, and it's absolutely stunning, and I have already made a shirt a bunch of time ago, and yeah, this was left over, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use this for this project or make another garment. This fabric here I got from Sew Jessie Handmade. If it's still available, I'll link that below. And it's a lighter weight cotton fabric. I have decided to go for the thread spool fabric. This is the wrong side. So all you now need to do is place your bedding on your fabric and then use that kind of as a template to go around, cut it out to be the same size. Okay, so now that you have cut out your bedding and your main fabric and checking that they are the same size, if not you can tidy up any edges. Righto, I have just flipped my project over. You can see it is the right side of fabric Under the right side is the betting, under the betting is the wood, and the same measurement that I measured to have the overlap of the fabric is still the same. Now next, go to your little ribbon collection and sort through and decide what ribbons you would like to use. There are no rules at all if you want to use different ribbons or the same ribbons. They can be plain ribbons or they can have characters on, like pretty much most, if not all, mine do. I have decided to use this cute little kitty ribbon and going to take the rubber bands off and work out, hopefully, that I have the amount that I need for this project, and then look to see the design of how I want my ribbon placed. Okay, so I have placed my kitty ribbon on my fabric. Nothing has been anchored down, and just playing around with an idea at the moment. So I might decide to keep it as is with the star design, or if I want to move the ribbon to whichever way I want to have the design, I can do that now. And then when I've decided, then that's when we will go on to the next step. Yeah, so playing around again with a different look for the ribbon, because when you're doing your memory board and you put your pegs in whatever it is that you would like to attach to your board, you got to work out how much ribbon you would like. Some boards are filled up a lot, and obviously you can add ribbon at any time later on, and sometimes people just like a basic board where they just have a few things, and it depends what you want your board for. It could be for the sewing room, so you have a few little notes on there, reminders, little postcards, anything like that. And also bear in mind to make sure that you put your ribbon the same amount of measurements as the main fabric and betting, because you need enough of that to also fold over and go around to the back for when you then attach it. I have decided to keep the ribbon in this diagonal design across the main fabric. Now, because I am not attaching these tacks, because I have only one, and it would be a whole bunch easier if I could place this and then use my hammer to hammer them in, so that would go through the ribbon, the main fabric, the batting, and securely into the wood. So instead of using those tacks, I will use buttons. Now at the moment, because the main fabric and batting is free from being attached to the wood, you can move that fabric and put your fingers under it and be able to hold the ribbon in place while you stitch your buttons to the ribbon and through the main fabric. Now, I have made these boards before and attached the batting and main fabric to the back of the wood, and then got my fingers under the ribbon, attached the button, and then just caught the main fabric. It can be done, but it is a lot more tricky to do it that way. So if there's anybody that's watching this who's kind of new to making these boards, I'm just showing you the easier way. Okay, I have just pinned my ribbon, and the pins that go in the direction that way, that is just to secure the ribbon to the main fabric. Then the pins that are facing in the other direction, this is where the marking point is for where I would like to place my buttons. So I have pinned in that direction on every place where I would like the buttons to go on the ribbons, and like I said, the pins going in the other direction, that is purely so the ribbon does not move, because now the next stage is now you can have two options. You can leave the fabric there as it is, get your needle and thread, your buttons of choice, and you can then affix your buttons to the ribbon now. Or if you like, because this is all secure, as in the pins are holding the ribbon to the main fabric and the betting, it doesn't matter now if you move it and take the wood away, and you may be more comfortable in not working with the fabric being on the table and or the wood. The choice is yours. So yeah, the next step now is I am going to attach some buttons. I have chosen some different colour buttons to go on my board. So kind of a little bit of shabby chicness going on. I may play around with the placement. It just so happens it has 3 purple buttons on that side, and yes, that was not on purpose. I just kind of randomly placed them, and just I put the camera on, I just happened to see that. I have threaded my needle and I have doubled the thread just so it gives it a little bit of extra strength, and now we are going to start stitching the buttons in place. Righto, so all the buttons have now been stitched on and through both the ribbon and the main fabric. So next we are going to flip this over so the fabric and the board together, and then we are going to bring in these edges and cleanly and firmly attach them to the wood with the staple gun. Right, first of all we take this corner here, and what I like to do is bring the corner over first onto the wood, ensuring that the ribbon comes with it, and you can feel with your finger if that is on the corner or not. If you are happy with the position of where it is, then you can take your staple gun and start securing where you want that to go. Now that is secure, then with 2 fingers I hold this down, with the other hand and my other fingers I bring that and fold that over like so, and secure that into place as well. In the same again here, hold this down, bring this over, making sure that any excess loose fabric is taut and gets caught in the fold, and also secured in place. And then what you need to do is do the same all around the edges, and then when you get to this corner, and the same with the other corners, making sure that you bring the corner of the fabric up first and then as I've just shown, making sure you fold and secure. So just off camera I am going to go all the way around and secure my fabric and bedding into place. Once you have secured the bedding in the fabric to the wood, just flip it over and take a look to see if everything is clean on the front, and also the important thing is to make sure the fabric and the ribbon or baste binding, you can use baste binding if you like, is taut, because when you then pin things to your board, you don't want anything moving and slipping. So looking at this is taut all the way around, so I'm really happy with that. Now on the back you can just leave as is, or if you'd like to clean up these raw edges you can add some ribbon, but if you are being thrifty it's not that important, because if you're hanging it on a wall nobody's going to see it. Even if you're just putting it on a table and resting it against the wall, no one is likely to go and look at the back. It's just personal preference, or you could just double fold under the fabric and then staple all around. I've just left as is because I'm happy with that, and it saves on extra ribbing and or baste binding. For me at the moment, because the decoration is still going on with the painting, I am leaving this as is. I am not going to attach it to the wall. If I was going to, then at the beginning I would have shown you what you would have required. So you would have need 1 or 2 attachments to install in the back of the wood. And if you're somebody that likes to use string, then you would have threaded that through the attachment, and then that would have gone on the hook that you would have had on your wall or door or wherever you would have liked to have put your board. But right now I'm leaving as is, clean, so this is going to be resting against something. Now I could either rest it against something like that, or if I wanted to play around and have it on the side, I can do whatever I wish, but I like it as this way round, especially as the ribbon has the cats going in this direction. Righto, so now that we have finished our board, here I have some plastic pegs, and I use these so then I can attach whatever it is that I wish to have on my board. So just for demonstration purposes, I have some shirred fabric here, and which you guys have seen. So if you wanted some swatches and ideas for fabrics, you can then put that on your board. So just using the little plastic peg, attach that anywhere you like to the ribbon, and there we go, it can hang quite happily there. So this inspiration memory board, it can be used for anything, and I'm sure I'll have this filled up with little fabric swatches, ideas, maybe some little notes that I've written down, and they can all go on. So yeah, you can fill your board up with anything that you like. So if you guys have made one, let me know what fabrics you use, what designs did you do for your ribbon, and what did you fill it up with? Is it empty, or is it so filled up that perhaps you would need to make another one? Okay, if you like this little memory board, please like the video and subscribe, and thank you very much for stopping by.